God, now.
Oh, no.
We've got ourselves an intro, folks.
I know.
No.
Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. I'm James. I'm joined by Zach. How you doing, mate?
I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, all good.
And Benj, how are you doing?
Yeah, spiffing.
Great. Today we're talking about Mumbai Indians, how they did at the auction, how they will do, and this is going to be like comprehensive and really intelligent because we're kind of cricket geniuses. So Benji, do you want to kick us off with your analysis of Mumbai Indians?
Mumbai have done Mumbai things, haven't they? And just spent all the money on great players. Like, they've just got a great team again. Like, it's so irritating that Mumbai just always seem to have a decent team. I mean, the core that they retained in Rohit, Karen Pollard, Sky and Jasprit is a great core. They spent the most money in the auction getting Ishant Kishan, a sort of that Quinton de Kock replacement at the top of the order. They've got a ridiculously balanced team with incredibly high-class players. I'm really excited to see Tim David. He's had an incredibly good PSL. So I'll be excited to see what he does in the IPL. The only questionable decision is spending 8 crore on a potential not playing Jofra Archer. But then next year we might have Jofra Archer in a Mumbai Indian shirt. And like Jofra Archer and Jasprit Bumrah in the same bowling attack in T20s, that's a scary thing to think about. Yeah, they've just done great, haven't they? Irritatingly great.
Zach, what are your thoughts? I want specifically, if you will, your thoughts on the bowling.
That's where it's interesting, because previously when they had the Krunal brothers, the Pandya brothers, that's the one. When they had the Pandya brothers, it didn't really matter if Hardik didn't bowl because he was an Indian, so they weren't wasting an overseas spot. He was very good with the batting. When he did bowl, that gave them some options. And also Krunal Pandya was an economical left-arm spinner. And now that they're gone, that kind of reduces the flexibility of their lower middle order slightly, which means that they're now relying on players like Fabian Allen to do the spinning all-rounder job. And because of that, it means they've got less opportunity for their overseas fast bowlers. So I know they've got Riley Meredith, who's kind of a Trent Bolt replacement, but yeah, in my opinion, Riley Meredith isn't nearly as good as Trent Bolt. They bought Daniel Sams, who has recently just been on the bench for Australia, not really getting much game time. Tymel Mills, who is hit and miss when it comes to death bowling, if we're being honest. He's not. Some games he might go for an economy rate of 5, other games he might go for an economy rate of 14. So their overseas options are lacking. I think they've got Jasprit Bumrah, so like he's going to do well every game, isn't he? Jadav and Anadkat, they'll probably have to play him. Whether he'll do well, I have no idea, because we haven't really seen him much in the IPL. And then Mayank Markandi is a young spinner. He might have a really good season. They might have seen something in him. So their bowling, I feel like they're lacking something. Just something.
I definitely agree. I think next season, like Benji said, we could see them have an absolute flyer when they've got Bumrah and Archer together, because they're both players that are the best players in the power play, the best in the middle, and the best at the death. But I agree, and I think their spinning options are a bit weak, because you've got Mayank Markandi, who has shown himself potentially to have a bit about him, but he's not proven at all. And the other person they bought is Murugan Ashwin, who, don't get me wrong, I quite like him. He did all right for Punjab Kings, but again, he's someone that he's not like he's not a guaranteed wicket taker. In a good game, he will give you a decent economy, but he won't take like a 5 for, he never looks like he's in danger of getting a lot of wickets, which someone like, I don't know, Ravi Bishnoi or Yuzvendra Chahal or even Jadeja, they look like they're in danger of sort of, taking wickets. So I think their spin is where they'll see a problem. And then I've just had a look at a few Mumbai possible 11s, and they've all got a relatively long tail with some, and they've all kind of got like an unknown Indian kind of thrown in there. We've got people like N. Tilak Varma, Sanjay Yadav, Mayank Markanday as well, which a lot of people won't have heard of. Who else have we got? I mean, there are a few, and I don't know how well those players can hold up. In the past, we've seen a Mumbai side that, they have their quota of 7 Indian players, and of them, at least 6 tend to be like international level performers, and that's the reason they've won so many times. They don't do interesting auctions because they just go for what works for them, and they have all the best Indian players. They don't have that anymore. And I wonder whether we'll see a slightly weakened Mumbai.
Potentially. I think 2 things. Zach, you've said without having Krunal Pandya and Hardik Pandya in there, it puts more pressure on the overseas. But they've almost got an overseas slot back by having Ishant Kishan in there for Quinton de Kock. So they've released that wicketkeeper batsman top order overseas spot, so you can use it again lower down the order. So I would expect to see Tim David and Kieron Pollard bat 5 and 6 every game. And Tim David does give you that spinning option, and Kieron Pollard chucks on his medium pace dibby dobblers, but somehow takes all the wickets. Sorry?
Goes for about 2 and over.
Exactly, yeah. And I think we'll see quite a lot of Sanjay Yadav. Sanjay Yadav is a all-rounder, left-handed bat and bowls left-arm orthodox. But his economy rate in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy is just a bit over 6.5 and over. So he's very tidy. Doesn't take many wickets, but he's very, very tidy in his bowling. So I think they'll have an option. I agree. I think they may struggle in their middle overs. I think they've got good opening bowlers, and I think they've got good death bowling. I think they might struggle in the middle overs for that sort of controlling the game with your spin and your medium paces. But there you go. I mean, that was the point of the mega auction, wasn't it? To sort of level the playing field, not just having this Mumbai team that can just win every single game all the time and be that dominant power force. So I think it's good for the IPL. Look, who doesn't want to see a weakened Mumbai team apart from Mumbai Indians fans? Let's be honest.
Well, one of the things you can't really discount when it comes to Mumbai is their scouts. They have proven their scouting ability throughout the tournament, which is why they've won so many times. And let's take Trent Bolt as an example. He was someone who wasn't doing that well in the IPL. And then I think he had a dodgy season for Delhi Capitals or something. And then Mumbai picked him up because they saw a different role for him. And when he was picked up from Mumbai, he fit that role. And yes, there were a lot of, well, to us, they're unknown Indian players. There might be some of our Indian fans who are watching and will know all these players and how good they are. But they wouldn't have just picked them for no reason. No, they must have some form of talent behind them. And Mumbai also like to do some pretty out there things, like last time when they picked up Marco Jansen, who's a tall South African unknown player. And this year they picked Deval Brevis, or yeah, I think that's how you say it, who's the top run scorer in the Under-19 World Cup, another South African player. So they do some out there things and it tends to pay off more often than not. So although it may seem like a wicked team and they might not have some of the coverage in the batting lineup or some of the spinners that they've had in the past, I do think that we can't discount them just because of their proven history and the backroom staff who are very talented at what they do.
Well, there we go. Benji, give us a league position that Mumbai are going to end the season in.
They'll probably make playoffs, but I want to say 6. Take that, Mumbai.
So basically 5 positions they could make there.
All right.
They'll probably make playoffs, but I want them to be 6.
Okay, well, there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed and hit the like button. Comment below what the strongest Mumbai 11 is and what do you think their weaknesses are, if any, and tell us why we're wrong, particularly Benji, because we like to hear some hate for him. So yeah, good seeing you guys. We'll see you guys.
So unnecessary.